This video is about the famous people and celebrities who passed away in 1978 in the United States. This is the first episode. Before we proceed, please subscribe to our channel to support us. Blossom Rock. She was born in August 1895 and she died in January 1978. Her age was 82 at the time of her death, and the reason for her death was stroke. Blossom Rock was an American actress of vaudeville, stage, film, and television. During her career, she was also billed as Marie Blake or Blossom MacDonald. Her younger sister was screen actress and singer Janet MacDonald. Rock is best known for her role as Grandmama on the 1960s black comedy sitcom The Addams Family. Rock adopted the name Marie Blake for her film career, beginning as a Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer contract player in 1937 with an uncredited appearance in My Dear Miss Eldridge. Her first credited major part was Love Finds Andy Hardy in 1938, and she then played her most notable on-screen role as Sally, the hospital switchboard operator in the 9 films that comprised MGM's popular Dr. Kildare series from 1938 to 1942. She once had the same agent as Irene Ryan, whose similar career later caused Rock to fire him. Rock returned to using her real name in the 1950s and later gained her biggest fame by playing Grandmama on the ABC sitcom The Addams Family, which was originally broadcast from 1964 to 1966. In October 1964, she made a public appearance in character at a haunted house at the Children's Museum of Indianapolis. Carl Betts. He was born in March 1921 and he died in January 1978. His age was 56 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was lung cancer. Carl Betts was an American stage, film, and television actor. He appeared in a variety of television series, including the CBS soap opera Love of Life. He is best remembered for playing Donna Reed's television husband, Dr. Alex Stone, from 1958 to 1966 in the ABC sitcom The Donna Reed Show. Then between 1967 and 1969, Betts played defense attorney Clinton Judd in ABC's courtroom drama Judd for the defense, winning an Emmy Award in 1969 for his work on that series. Betts made his Broadway debut in 1952 in The Long Watch and toured with Veronica Lake in the summer stock play The Voice of Turtle. He then appeared for 18 months as Coley Jordan on Love of Life. Prior to his 8-year run on the Donna Reed Show, Betts made guest appearances on such television series as Sheriff of Cochise, Perry Mason, Gunsmoke, as Nate Timble and Ned Gloss, an outlaw trying to go straight, under an assumed name in the 1957 episode Gone Straight, credited as Carl Benz, The Millionaire, and Alfred Hitchcock Presents. Hubert H. Humphrey. He was born in May 1911 and he died in January 1978. His age was 66 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was bladder cancer. Hubert H. Humphrey was an American politician who served as the 38th Vice President of the United States from 1965 to 1969. He twice served in the United States Senate representing Minnesota from 1949 to 1964 and again from 1971 to 1978. As a senator, he was a major leader of modern liberalism in the United States. As President Lyndon B. Johnson's vice president, he supported the controversial Vietnam War, and intensely divided Democratic Party nominated him in the 1968 presidential election, which he lost to Republican nominee Richard Nixon. Born in Wallace, South Dakota, Humphrey attended the University of Minnesota. In 1943, he became a professor of political science at Macalester College and ran a failed campaign for mayor of Minneapolis. He helped found the Minnesota Democratic Farmer Labor Party (DFL) in 1944. The next year, he was elected mayor of Minneapolis, serving until 1948 and co-founding the left-wing, non-communist group Americans for Democratic Action in 1947. In 1948, he was elected to the United States Senate and successfully advocated for the inclusion of a proposal to end racial segregation in the 1948 Democratic National Convention's party platform. John D. MacArthur. He was born in March 1897 and he died in January 1978. His age was 80 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was pancreatic cancer. John D. MacArthur was an American insurance magnate, real estate investor, and philanthropist who established the John D. and Catherine T. MacArthur Foundation, benefactor in the MacArthur Fellowships. MacArthur joined the United States Navy and then the Royal Canadian Air Force during the World War I. He was medically discharged from service. MacArthur made his fortune in the mail order insurance business. He acquired the Bankers Life and Casualty Company, an insurance company defeated by the Great Depression in 1935 after borrowing $2,500, then went on to build a business empire by acquiring many small insurance corporations. In the 1950s, he signed famed broadcaster Paul Harvey as his company's radio spokesperson. MacArthur also increased his vast fortune by heavily and lucratively investing in Florida real estate. By the time of his death, he owned 100,000 acres of real estate in Florida. In 1954, for $5.5 million, MacArthur bought 2,600 acres of land in the northern Palm Beach County, originally owned by Harry Seymour Kelsey and later by Sir Harry Oakes. It included most of today's Lake Park, North Palm Beach Gardens, and Palm Beach Shores. Robert Daniel Murphy. He was born in October 1894 and he died in January 1978. His age was 83 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Robert Murphy was an American diplomat. He served the first United States Under-Secretary of State for Political Affairs when the position was established during the Eisenhower administration. In February 1941, Humphrey negotiated the Murphy-Weygand Agreement, which allowed the United States to export to French North Africa in spite of the British blockade and trade restrictions against the Vichy-governed area. In autumn 1942, at President Franklin D. Roosevelt's behest, Murphy invested conditions in French North Africa in preparations for the Allied landings. Operation Torch, the first major Western Allied ground offensive during the Second World War. He was appointed the President's personal representative with the rank of Minister to French North Africa. Murphy made contact with various French army officers in Algiers and recruited them to support the Allies when the invasion of French North Africa came. During this time, Kenneth Pender served his second. Murphy retired from the State Department in December 1959 but became an advisor to Presidents John F. Kennedy, Lyndon B. Johnson, and Richard Nixon. He served on President Gerald Ford's Foreign Intelligence Advisory Board. Joe McCarthy. He was born in April 1887 and he died in January 1978. His age was 90 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Joe McCarthy was an American manager in Major League Baseball, most renowned for his leadership of the Bronx Bombers, teams of the New York Yankees from 1931 to 1946, the first manager to win pennants with both National and American League teams, doing so with Chicago clubs in 1929 and the Yankees in 1932. He won a total 9 league pennants and 7 World Series championships. The latter is a record tied only by Casey Stengel. McCarthy was elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1957. He recorded a 100-win season 6 times, a record matched only by Bobby Cox. McCarthy's career winning percentages in both the regular season and postseason in all World Series are all highest in Major League history. His 2,125 career victories rank ninth all-time in Major League history for managerial wins, and he ranks first all-time for the Yankees with 1,460 wins. Kurt Gödel, he was born in April 1906 and he died in January 1978. His age was 71 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was a self-imposed starvation. Kurt Gödel was a logician, mathematician and philosopher, considered along with Aristotle and Gottlob Frege to be one of the most significant logicians in history. Gödel profoundly influenced scientific and philosophical thinking in the 20th century at a time when Bertrand Russell, Alfred North Whitehead and David Hilbert were using logic and set theory to investigate the foundations of mathematics, building on early work by Frege, Richard Dedekind, and George Cantor. Gödel's discoveries in the foundations of mathematics led to the proof of his completeness theorem in 1929 as part of his dissertation to earn a doctorate at the University of Vienna, and the publication of Gödel's incompleteness theorems 2 years later in 1931. The incompleteness theorems addresses limitations of formal axiomatic systems. In particular, they imply that a formal axiomatic system satisfying certain technical conditions cannot decide the truth value of all statements about the natural numbers and cannot prove that it is itself consistent. To prove this, Gödel developed a technique now known as Gödel numbering, which codes formal expressions as natural numbers. Thanks for watching the video. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Have a nice day.